Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into one of the 20th century's most, well, truly chilling and enduring mysteries, the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
It's a case that really gets under your skin.
It absolutely does. So picture this. February 1959, Soviet Union, Ural Mountains. 9 ski hikers, all experienced, found dead. And the circumstances, just bizarre, defy easy explanation.
Right. And the official conclusion didn't exactly help clear things up.
No, not at all. They called it a compelling natural force.
Vague.
Yeah.
Right. And that vagueness, frankly, it just kicked the door wide open for decades of speculation, some wild theories, and just endless questions.
Which is exactly why it's fascinated people for so long.
Precisely. So today, we're going to unpack the details. The strange clues, the frustrating lack of answers, everything that makes this case so incredibly captivating. It's more than just what happened. It's about why this specific event, over 60 years on, still has such a hold on us.
And our goal here in this deep dive is to walk you through the essentials using insights from our source material, mainly excerpts from the Dyatlov Pass Incident, an enduring mystery. We'll look at the expedition itself, these poor people.
Then the discoveries made by the search teams. Pretty shocking stuff.
Yeah.
The autopsy findings, which are deeply unsettling, to say the least. And then we'll get into the main theories people have come up with to try and make sense of it all.
Right. So by the end, you'll really grasp why the story is so compelling and maybe why it's so stubbornly unsolved.
Let's hope.
Okay, let's start with the people involved. Igor Dyatlov, he was the leader. Young, capable, highly respected.
The proper expedition leader.
Exactly. And his group. Students, graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. These weren't just weekend campers, they were seasoned, knew what they were doing, prepared for a tough 16-day ski trek.
They were well-equipped, trained for Arctic conditions almost. They understood the risks.
They certainly should have. They knew the Urals, the cold, they'd planned meticulously.
And the setting itself is quite atmospheric.
It really is. Early February 1959. They set up camp high on the slopes of a mountain the local Mansi people call Kolatchiakal.
Which translates to Dead Mountain.
Dead Mountain. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. The name itself feels like a dark omen, doesn't it? Especially considering what happened next in that desolate, snow-swept place.
Absolutely. And that sense of foreboding became real when the group just didn't return as scheduled.
Right. They missed their check-in date.
Yeah. And given their experience, alarm bells started ringing pretty quickly back home. The conditions were known to be harsh, but this was different. A large search party was sent out.
They had no idea what they were about to find, did they?
Not a clue. They were heading into a mystery that would still be debated decades later. The initial feeling must have just been this growing dread.
So the search party gets to Dead Mountain.
Yeah.
And the first major discovery, it's the tent.
Found on the mountainside, yeah.
But it wasn't just collapsed from snow or wind. It was slashed, cut open, from the inside.
Which immediately tells you something violent or desperate happened in the tent. Not outside.
Exactly. Someone frantically cutting their way out. It screams panic. Pure, overwhelming panic. And then, maybe even stranger.
Their gear.
Yes. Their boots, warm clothes, food, all their survival equipment left inside. Neatly arranged, even.
Which suggests they left in an incredible hurry. A desperate flight into the freezing cold, leaving everything essential behind.
It's completely counterintuitive. Fleeing shelter into, what, minus 20, minus 30 degrees?
Around minus 22 Celsius, so about minus 8 Fahrenheit. Brutal cold. And that desperate flight led to the discovery of the first 5 bodies.
Found scattered down the slope from the tent.
Scattered, yes. And some were nearly naked, some barefoot, in that temperature.
Just awful. The cold alone would kill you quickly like that.
Of course, hypothermia. But what's really perplexing is that 3 of those first 5 seem to have been trying to get back up the slope. Towards the tent, they'd just fled.
Why? Why run away from the only shelter you have in that state, only to try and return? It makes no logical sense from a survival standpoint.
None at all. And that contradiction is right at the heart of this mystery.
It really is. It's like something snapped, some rational thought process just broke down completely, and then it gets even darker.
Months later, after the snow melt.
Yeah, the spring thaw revealed the remaining 4 bodies. Found in a ravine deeper in the woods, maybe 50 meters or so.
And their injuries, well, they were a whole different ballgame.
This is where it moves beyond just a tragic accident, isn't it? It becomes something truly disturbing.
Indeed. Let's talk about the official Soviet investigation's autopsy results. They are critical.
Okay.
So, for 6 of the 9 hikers, the cause of death was determined to be hypothermia. Tragic, yes, but understandable given they were found without proper gear in those conditions.
Right. That part sadly makes a grim kind of sense.
But it's the other three victims. That's where things get deeply unsettling.
Okay.
These three had suffered severe physical trauma, and the investigators specifically concluded these injuries could not have been caused by another human being.
Not caused by a person, so what then?
Exactly. We're talking two victims with massive chest trauma. The report compared the force needed to cause injuries like that to a car crash.
A car crash out there.
Incredible force. Another victim had major skull damage. And then, perhaps the most bizarre and disturbing detail, one female victim was missing her tongue and eyes.
Missing her. Tongue and eyes. How does that even happen? And not by human hand, according to the report.
Fits with the official documents state. The sheer violence of these injuries, coupled with that no human perpetrator conclusion, it just sends the mystery into overdrive. It forces you to ask what kind of force could do that.
And just when you think it can't get any stranger, there's another layer.
Ah, yes. The radiation.
Radiation. Forensic tests found high levels of radioactive contamination on the clothing of a few victims.
Not all of them, but definitely present on some.
Why? Why would ski hikers in the middle of nowhere have radioactive contamination on their clothes? It makes absolutely no sense in the context of a hiking trip.
It really doesn't. And it's another one of those facts that fuels so much speculation, pushing this way beyond a simple mountaineering accident. It's like adding gasoline to the fire of the mystery.
So let's recap the weirdness. Tent slashed from inside. People fleeing into extreme cold without gear. Some trying to return. Hypothermia for some, yes. But then these brutal, non-human inflicted injuries for others. And radiation.
It's this perfect storm of contradictory and baffling evidence. And that's why we have so many theories, because no single simple explanation seems to neatly tie up all these loose ends.
Okay, let's dive into some of those theories. Probably the most mainstream one, certainly the one pushed by recent scientific studies, is an avalanche.
Right, specifically a slab avalanche. A 2021 study made a pretty compelling case for this.
Explain that a bit. How would that work?
Well, the idea is that katabatic winds, these are strong, cold winds rushing down the slope, could have caused a thick slab of snow to build up above the tent.
Okay.
The slab then breaks off and slides down onto the tent. The impact wouldn't necessarily kill them instantly, but it could cause serious injuries, maybe those chest and skull fractures, and trap them.
Forcing them to cut their way out in a panic.
Exactly. They slash the tent, get out injured, disoriented, without time to grab gear, and then stumble out into the freezing cold. Hypothermia gets most of them. The severe injuries are from the initial impact, or maybe falls in the dark trying to get away or find shelter.
It covers some bases. The tent, the panic, the hypothermia, maybe even some injuries. But what about, say, the missing tongue? Or the radiation? Does the avalanche theory explain those?
And that's the sticking point. It explains a lot, quite plausibly, but those really extreme anomalies, not so much.
Yeah.
An avalanche doesn't typically cause localized radiation contamination. And the missing tongue is very hard to fit into that scenario naturally.
So it's a strong contender for part of the story, maybe, but not the whole picture?
That's how many see it. Which leads us to other theories. Given the time, Cold War era, Soviet Union military involvement is a big one.
Secret weapons testing.
Precisely. The theory goes the hikers accidentally stumbled onto a secret military test zone, maybe a missile test, some kind of experimental weapon.
That could potentially explain the radiation, couldn't it? From fallout or exotic fuel?
It could. And maybe the concussive force of an explosion could explain the severe blunt force trauma injuries. The secrecy of the Soviet state at the time definitely lends itself to these kinds of cover-up theories, though again, direct proof is lacking.
Right. It fits some pieces, but it's still speculation. Okay, what else? I remember reading about something really out there. Infrasound.
Ah, yes, the infrasound theory. It's fascinating, if a bit unsettling.
How does that work?
The idea is that certain wind conditions passing over the specific topography of the mountain could create very low-frequency sound waves, infrasound, below the range of human hearing.
Okay, so you wouldn't hear it.
You wouldn't consciously hear it, no. But the theory suggests infrasound can have physiological effects, including inducing feelings of intense, irrational fear, dread, panic.
Driving them mad, basically.
In a sense, causing such overwhelming panic that they rip open the tent and flee blindly into the night, acting completely irrationally, which leads to their deaths from exposure or accidents in their panic state.
Wow. That's a chilling thought. The mountain itself creating a sound that drives you insane. It's almost Lovecraftian.
It's definitely one of the more unusual theories, but it attempts to explain that sudden irrational panic.
Did they ever consider, local involvement? The Mansi people.
That was considered very early on, the indigenous attack theory. Did the hikers trespass on sacred land? Were they attacked?
But that was ruled out, right?
Very quickly, yes. The investigation found absolutely no evidence of anyone else being near the tent site. No tracks besides the hikers, no signs of a struggle with outsiders. Plus, the Mansi people were known to be peaceful. So that theory was effectively debunked by the physical evidence, or lack thereof.
Okay, so that one's off the table based on the investigation.
Pretty much. Which leaves us with, well, the enduring mystery.
So where does that leave us after all this? What does it all mean? The Dyatlov Pass incident is just one of those cases, isn't it? It sticks with you.
It really does.
It's that combination of factors. The bizarre circumstances, the evidence that seems to point in multiple directions at once, hypothermia, yes, but also trauma, like a car crash, radiation, and just the complete lack of one single satisfying answer.
It remains profoundly unsolved.
It really does. One of the most compelling and genuinely chilling mysteries of the 20th century. It's like a puzzle with pieces that just don't fit together no matter how you turn them. A riddle frozen in time on that mountainside.
And we've laid out the key pieces for you, the known facts, the autopsy details, the main theories. Now, we really encourage you, the listener, to think about it. What resonates with you?
Yeah, what stands out?
Does the avalanche theory seem most likely, despite its gaps? Or does the secrecy of the era make you lean towards military involvement? Maybe that infrasound idea captures the sheer strangeness of it for you. How do you weigh all this conflicting information?
It's a tough one, and maybe that's the point. In a world where we expect answers, where science and data seem to explain everything eventually, what happens when a mystery just refuses to be solved?
What does that tell us?
Yeah, what does our continued fascination with Dyatlov Pass tell us about ourselves? About our need to understand, maybe our fear of the unknown, or the limits of our ability to explain everything when faced with something truly inexplicable? Is it the ultimate cold case, or just a stark reminder that some things remain shrouded in mystery, secrets kept by the silent mountains?
Something to definitely ponder.
Absolutely. Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep digging, keep asking questions.